We're going to just talk about some best practices as moms and some gems we would like to share with you. And then also what we wish we knew before we became moms, because there's so many things. So I'll start. So I was trying to dig through all the things that I think could, just add to your motherhood experience. These are things that work for me, but they might not work for you. But if you want to give them a try, I highly recommend. So the first thing I would say is a gem that I love is that I got a jogging stroller. It's different than a regular stroller because it's just how the wheels are set up. And I was able to just go for walks and also move at a faster pace when I was going out for walks with Nehemiah, specifically Anaya. And you can literally jog. And if you want, you don't have to, or you can walk fast, but you also can hold it with one hand and steer it, which I thought was a game changer. I don't know if you had a similar stroller.
I did. I had a jogging stroller too, which I didn't think I bought intentionally, but I was glad I had it because it was so easy. I will say though, it was very big.
Yeah.
It was very it felt like I had to lug it around. So I ended up getting a cheaper, smaller one for my the one that would go with me in the mall.
Okay.
Because that one, it weighed a lot. So it was functional. Yes. Like very easy to run, and it was heavy duty, but not practical.
Okay, so I never got a different stroller, so I wasn't aware that there was a lighter stroller out there. So I just assumed all strollers were this heavy and bulky.
No, not at all.
So I made it work, but I did love even going out in the winter. I would take the stroller just was amazing in the winter and the snow and all that stuff. It's just great. So you can just literally let your kids sleep while you're jogging or walking fast, and you can listen to a podcast. And also it was a way that I lost a lot of my postpartum weight was walking at a faster pace than a regular stroller because I literally had one hand on. The next thing that I really loved was having a baby carrier or wrap. I got it a little bit late, but once I did, my kids just would sleep on me and I would literally do all the, household stuff. I would be able to do so much because my hands were free. Also, my babies were so happy because they were on me, whether they were awake or sleeping. They stayed asleep longer than they would if they were in their crib. Yes, it was hard on the back sometimes, but I think it made me stronger, but I was just able to do so much. And I'm not going to lie, and I know people might be like, oh, you shouldn't do this. If I was wanting to sit and watch TV, I would literally sit on the bed with my hands on a pillow and I'd undo the wrap, but they were still secured in the bum area and they would just sleep on me on an angle.
Oh, gotcha.
And honestly, maybe I fell asleep sometimes, but they weren't moving. And I know some people totally don't say you should let your baby sleep on your chest, but to each their own, you do your thing. But the baby carry was life-changing for me. And once you watch a couple YouTube videos, you'll know how to do it and what works for you. It looks a little intimidating, but highly recommend.
There's different types.
So many different types. Yeah. I like the ones that are just basically a piece of fabric. And I don't even know the name of the one I had, but you'll find them. I would say the other two that I have is that I really, really am happy that I did. I set up email addresses, so a Gmail account for both Naya and Neo that has their first, middle, and last name. Because I've heard that it's really hard to get your name as an email as you get older. And I just thought maybe they would really appreciate having their not Nehemiah NB Bartley 5625, when he's older. I got his full name with his initials, middle name.
Both of your children have very unique names that I don't think they're going to have to worry about that. Their names are not actually John Carter.
Nehemiah Bartley wasn't available. That's why I had to add NB, which is his middle name initials.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that.
I know. I agree. So Naya and Neo both have their own Gmail. And what I've done to add on to that, I know this is super extra and this is the teacher side of me, but I love writing letters. And every month from when they were born, I wrote them a letter and I attached a picture because I forget even how they are. So I would basically write down to them a letter about themselves and what they're doing and things they're getting into. And I would email it to them, their email address, so they will have it when they get older. And also I would take video vlogs talking to them about themselves. And I emailed that to them. So it's something it takes time, but if you're on mat leave and you have time to do this stuff, it's just a nice reflective practice. Because I even think there's certain things I forget that they've done and they did. So now I have almost a diary for myself. They have love letters from me and videos, and it's all sent to their email and into their Google Drive. So I set it up from time. So those are the main things that I think are just game changers, and I'm glad I did them. So what are yours?
Honestly, I feel like there's times where I don't have much. There's things I've wanted to do, but I didn't because I was just so overwhelmed in the first couple of years with Kennedy. But yeah, I would say some best practices or I guess advice or tips that worked for me would be, because I have such a terrible memory, I would say that taking plenty of photos, videos, just even moments that you think may not matter, they probably do, or they will years down the line. Like even now, like I look at Kennedy and she's so tall and she's so big now, and I actually forget how tiny she was, or like it takes me back when I watch a video of like when she was barely able to crawl. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, because I think that sometimes we're so wrapped up in the now that, yeah. So I would just say to any parent, mom or dad, to take as many pictures and memories as possible. And I would even encourage, if there's any listeners who are not moms today, to take the photo or the video for the mom, because often it's all the videos of just our kids, but it is nice when it's captured where we're both in it. And yeah, I mean, I think something that I've done a lot, and that's partially because I've had no choice, but it is bring your kids, if you can, if it's possible, to take them along for the journey. Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, because I am a single parent, sometimes I've had no choice but to bring Kennedy. Kennedy has gone with me to like everything you can think of. She's gone with me on the GO train. We've done road trips together. We've flown together. I've taken her to work with me. She has gone to events with me. Like she is my I birthed my executive assistant as practically, because she is just always with me. And, you know, not every time, but with that, I think it's created her. She's someone who's very adaptable now at a young age, which I think is a good trait. So yeah, if it's possible, like include them into whatever your routine is. Like if you're a chef, like introduce them to the kitchen when they're nice and young. Like if you're, maybe if you can't bring them to the office, like a 9 to 5, no, but it's just like incorporating them into things that you like to do. I've seen videos where dads have taken their like newborns on the golf course with them. They literally like packed up their carrier and like they were just like sitting next to them in their cart. So it's stuff like that I think would be great. But
yeah, kids are so adaptable, and I think we sometimes don't give them that, you know, freedom. We just assume they're going to be hard, or we just assume they're going to not enjoy themselves. And I think they just want to be with us. They just want to like learn, and they just want to explore. And then obviously like, it's nice when you go places and there's people that also play with your child and like, you know, so you get to do some things. But I'm that person, like I will not bring them to the grocery store. I will wait till I can go without them because I will not deal with that chaos. But I know for some parents, they don't have that choice. And maybe I should take them so they can learn like how to have grocery store etiquette. But I don't have time for that or the patience at this point. But I think it's great when kids get to explore and that we give them an opportunity to be part of our adult lives.
Yeah, for sure. I know it's kind of depending on who you are or the kind of parent you are, or maybe it's easier. It's like, yeah, easier said than done. If you have 4, okay, maybe not, but you know, take it as a grain of salt. But I guess one thing else we wanted to talk about in this quarter was things you wanted or things you wish you knew before you became a mom. So what would be, what are some things that you wish you knew before becoming a mom, Shannon?
I would say that it's not as easy. And I think I've said this in a previous episode, that it's not as easy as my mom made it look. Or other moms. Like I have a lot of mom friends that became moms way before me, and I just was always looking at them like, wow, they just really handle that with so much grace. And I just assume that's how I would be, and I'm not. And sometimes I'm not, most times. And I you know, and then not to say that I'm with them, I'm a fly on the wall in their home, because I know no one's perfect. But I would say that's the biggest thing, is that motherhood, some women make motherhood look so easy, and you know, it's not necessarily easy, but obviously super rewarding. And we need to give ourselves grace, because it's a beautiful title, a very important one. And if we always put so much pressure on ourselves, we're just going to always feel like we're not doing enough. And that's not okay, because we are. I would say sorry goes a long way. With especially my kids. I've also mentioned this. I have really rough moments that I bring home, and I take it out on them sometimes, and it's not fair. And all I say, I just decide to say sorry. Or Naya was giving me a hard time at bedtime, and I was like getting upset because I had to go to a meeting, and she just looked at me and she said, "I'm so sorry, mommy." And I said, "You know what, girl, I'm sorry too." And like it just yeah, sorry goes a long way.
It does.
I would say I'll just share two more. Like postpartum depression, I did not know enough about it. I just heard about it. I didn't understand what it was. I don't know if people were scared to be honest about it. Maybe I didn't do research because I didn't, but I felt like I've actually never understood how serious and bad it can be, especially if you deal with it on your own. So you need to get the support you need to find the support. You need to be open and honest with people. And I hope that your people around you are picking up on those signs. And let me go with, okay, I'll say this. I think it's really important before you have kids, if you're doing it with a partner or a husband or someone that you're raising your children with, you need to have the conversation of how are you going to raise your children, whether or not you are of the same faith, whether or not you grew up the same, whether or not whatever it is. That is, I find, like, I thought we covered this, but Paul and I grew up very differently. We come from very different different cultural backgrounds, but also just grew up differently, like even where we lived. So when it came down to raising our children and disciplining, we butt heads all the time. And that is something we did not discuss because I didn't think we had to, because we're so similar to, like in terms of our belief systems. But when it comes to discipline, and how are we raising our children? You have to have this conversation with your partner, your co-parent, whoever, because it can cause a severe problem in your relationship, and then it affects the kids. So that is, I would say, I wish I knew that. I wish someone really said, did you have that conversation with your husband about how you're going to raise your kids? Because you need to understand where he's coming from and what he wants. And does it align with what you want? And then what are you going to do if it doesn't? And that's the thing. So I would say those are the main
it's hard though, because in theory, if you have the conversation beforehand, you can say one exactly. And then it's like you throw in actual living, breathing children in the thick of their toddlerhood or whatever, and like their defiance and their blow ups and their like all of the stress of it, things can change.
Yeah, and I would say ours changed, and he's like leaned closer to what I want, and I've had to lean closer just because I understand where he's coming from. So yeah, it does change, but I think the foundational conversation, like, we are not doing Halloween, you know what I mean? Where I grew up doing Halloween even as a Christian, and like that type of thing. Or are we doing timeouts? Are we doing like, other forms of discipline? So yeah, I agree. It changes, and that's good. And it's just as long as we understand your partners, and because the arguing about stuff is not helpful, and it can cause a huge divide.
Yeah. I get that.
What about you?
Oh man, things I wish I knew before I became a mom. The biggest, first and foremost, is that motherhood is going to break you down, but rebuild you in a way in which I don't think you can really ever prepare for until you become a mom. I would say for me, one thing I wish I knew before I became a mom is that this journey, this roller coaster of being a mom, it's going to break you down in a way in which you don't even think you're fit for it. It's going to make you question yourself. It's going to make you think twice. But it's also going to rebuild you back up into a different version of the woman that you never expected. So I would say that is like, for anyone who is, if you're listening, if you're a newborn, or not newborn, brand new mom to a newborn, or maybe, you are a veteran and your kids are grown, I think you will understand this at some point along in your journey. And for me, hearing that, if I wasn't a mom, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I get it. Kind of like postpartum depression. Like, oh, wow. Like, you hear about it, but there are certain things that until you experience it for yourself and you really yeah, you take it in for yourself, you really don't grasp it. So, yeah, that, another thing I wish I knew before I became a mom is how much of yourself you're really going to realize is flawed, and that, you know, parenting, realize like you're not perfect. And I think for me, constantly a prayer that I constantly say, or even just a quick little moment when I feel like I don't think I'm capable of doing this sometimes, is like, Lord, you love Kennedy more than I love her. So like, help me to be the best parent for her, help me to be the best version of myself. So it's giving ourselves that grace, because yeah, it's hard. It's challenging. It's not easy. But at the same time, I believe in my heart of hearts that the children that you are blessed with, or the child that you are blessed with, whether that is the child you birthed or that is the child that you have been given, like for whatever the situation is, like you are suited exactly for that individual. And like no one else can be like a better mom to them. And so just remember that when those days are hard or you question your ability, yeah, I would say that's what I wish I knew, that God blessed me exactly to be the mom for Kennedy Ann, and not for, you know, any, like in that's my, what do you call it? That's been my gift. That's been my task. That's been my assignment. So yeah, I would say that, and you will eventually sleep again. I'll just leave it at that. You will eventually sleep again. This time around, we are going to be talking about some different parenting scenarios that, depending on where you stand on things, may get you the side eye, or you are like, listen, I am unashamed, and yes. So we're talking no judgment parenting scenarios. And depending on if you're listening at home, maybe you'll agree with Shannon or with me on this one. We don't know. Or maybe we all agree, or maybe we disagree. We're about to find out. So we're going to bring in Malaika, our social media producer extraordinaire. So Malaika, you have the questions or the scenarios ready. And yeah, we'll see where we fall on these.
Okay, let's dive right into this.
Yeah.
If your child doesn't eat what you made for dinner, they get another choice?
Yes.
Wow. Oh, see, listen, before I became a mom, I'm not going to lie, I was always like, I would never do that as a parent. And now I do the opposite. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're opposite.
So what I mean by this is, I don't mean if I made like a pot roast and like that's the pot roast that I'm making a whole nother meal. No.
Oh,
okay. You don't want to eat pot roast? That's fine. You can have whatever. You can have crackers. Okay. You can have fruit, like whatever's already pre-made in the fridge. Sure. I'm not going to force her to eat exactly what I had. I'm going to eat it. You don't have to, but I'm also not going to make a whole nother meal for her. So that's what I mean.
Whole other meal.
Heck no.
Okay, good.
No.
I was like going to say, girl, you're doing too much. Just
no. So that's what I mean by, I'm still going to give her food.
Of course.
Yeah. But just like, yeah, like I said, like bread, like you get a piece of toast or something.
Which she probably would love. The bread.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what I mean by that. Yeah.
Okay. So I said no because I do have a husband who, again, we're so different. So I grew up, my mom was like, if you don't eat what I made, you don't get anything and you can go to bed hungry. So my mom was pretty much like very strict. I think it might be a West Indian thing. Paul is the same way. He grew up that way. If you don't eat what like my mom or your mom made, you're going to bed. You can eat it. There's nothing wrong. You're not allergic. So for me, so I have one picky eater and one non-picky eater. So like I will low key like go to the kitchen and like pass her like bread and crackers because I don't want, like she will refuse to eat food. But then again, like I don't know if I say like, if we both stand strong and say no, will she end up just eating it? Cause she loves food.
But she knows now. Well, I guess.
Yeah, I ruined it.
Paul knows this now. Cause I was gonna say, but now she knows she'll always be able to go to you.
Oh yeah. I totally messed. I'm doing the thing that you should not do. But so I'm like, yes, she can, similar to you, but my husband, Paul, he's like, nope, you don't eat it. You go to bed hungry and that's on you. So,
okay. Bath time is every single night.
Yes.
No.
Kennedy
Judge me if you want, but nope.
Listen, Kennedy Ann gets bathed every night. And here's my thing. It does not have to be. It's like bath time when you see it on social media. You got the bubbles and you got the lights, and it's this whole no. We are like, it's efficient. It is part of bedtime routine. Okay. You get in, you bathe her, you wash her, you get out. Jammies, lotion, PJs, bedtime books. Bed.
I feel like that is most parents' routine. I feel like I'm the one that's going to be judged on this, and people are going to be side-eyeing me. But listen, my husband and my husband's on board with this too. It's not just me. So,
but hold on, because they're only getting older. I can understand that when she's like a bebe, but now in their toddler, where their feet stink now, like,
okay, I'm not saying I don't wipe them down. I just don't do a full bath. This is why, and you would need to understand my children. They're wild. When they get in the water, they're like little, they were like mermaids or mermen. Like when they get in water, it's like another level. So at night, if I put them in a bath, it's not that they get to come out and they're like, oh, that's so, no, they come out like Sonic the Hedgehog, like zipping around. So honestly, we used to do baths every day. And then honestly, my son started to get eczema on his skin. And then I tried different things, whatever. And I was told like, do not bathe them every day. But I do wipe them down with a washcloth and warm water and a little bit of like, light bath soap, but like I clean, obviously their areas get cleaned every single day. Like don't come for me, okay? But in terms of like I'm filling up the bath, I prefer if they would jump in a shower, because not only am I saving money on like water and time, but they don't get as hype. But right now we're every other day. When Neo, like he's gonna start bathing every single day, because yes, he is in JK. That's the stuff that happens in that classroom. I'm sure he's just whatever. That's why we wipe, and we do the wipe down in the face. Like we clean them, but the bath and then the hair, I feel like for like my hair texture is different, but like when they get in the bath, their hair gets wet, and I don't want their hair to get wet because I cannot wash Naya's hair every day because of her texture of her hair, and it's hard. I could put a bonnet on her, but again, the main thing is like A, they get so hype. B, I just don't think it's necessary. I think it's somewhat see, and you're judging me. See, I could feel the judgment, right? That's fine. Listen, I was judging people too, but this is what works for us. And definitely for sure later soon, they will have to bathe every day. Weekends, we definitely bathe them because they go out and do stuff, and they have to look like they, but like I said, it works for us every other day. Their hair gets washed probably 3 times a week just because of the
that's
texture.
A whole different, washing your hair is a whole different thing as far as bathing.
Yeah, but they can't go in their bath with their heads not going under the bath. So it's like, it's just crazy to me. So that's what we do.
Okay.
Judge me if you want.
Okay. Your child decides what you listen to in the car.
I'm in the middle on that one. Like 50-50. So on mornings or days when, you know what, sometimes it's just easiest. Sure. I got the playlist. Like right now, she's all about Super Kitty. What else? Paw Patrol and all the things. So we have Kennedy's playlist, but there's some times where I'm just like, no, bump it. I want to listen to what I want to listen to, and you're just gonna have to get on board. And most times she gets on board. So now she knows my favorite praise songs. And this is so funny. I don't know how this happened. Oh, I do know how it happened. It all started with the Super Bowl. My girl is a Kendrick Lamar fan. This girl's like, Mommy, I want Squabble Up. I was like, okay, uncensored version or censored version. So yeah, there's a few songs now she knows, but yeah, not all the time. Because you're not gonna Bluey and Paw Patrol me to death. You're not in my own car. No. So yeah, that's me.
Naya runs me to the ground. Neo, he will listen to my worship music. He loves it. She loves it too. But if she says, Mommy, I want Frozen number 1 or 2, I just put it on, because honestly, if I do not, the ride to drop her off is bare chaos with screaming and crying and kicking the back of my chair, and I don't have time to deal with that. And I actually really love the soundtracks, and I sing it. So even when I drop her off, I don't even change it right away, because like depending on the song,
sometimes I forget. You're right. And like I'm like tuned out, and all of a sudden I was like, how am I still listening to Paw Patrol?
Yeah. The only time I don't is if she has a bad day at daycare and the teacher tells me and she's like, Mommy, I want Frozen. I said, nope, you don't get to listen to it because you had a bad day. And then she cries. But then I just put on but she'll cry the whole way home. So anyways, she runs me. Neil, he lets me do what I got to do. He's so easygoing, but yeah, she runs me.
Okay. Your child is throwing a tantrum in the store or at the party. Do you give them what they want, or do you football hold them and leave?
I've done both.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle on that one. So it depends, because if I can't do a swift exit and I have to and we're in a place, so let's just say, I guess you could use the grocery store as an example. I will negotiate with her, like, okay, you can watch my phone while mommy finishes grocery shopping. So my condition is you have to sit in the cart, let mommy do what she needs to do, and we can be out. And then if I really need to razzle dazzle my negotiations, I'll say, you get a lollipop if you behave at the end at checkout. So I will do that. However, there have been other instances where it has just been ridiculously like, oh, this is bad. And she's showing out right now. And I have dropped I even had items in the cart. I said, bump this, scooped her up like a football. And I was like, we are out. This is not worth it. So I will absolutely be that parent too. And my thing is, now that I'm a parent, I don't mind when I see other tantrums and blow-ups happening in real time by others. I overstand it. So I'm just like, hey, do you? So and dare I even say, when I see parents actually being firm with their kids and telling them when they're misbehaving in public, I don't mind. I like seeing that, because yes, don't not discipline them just because you know other people are around. I'm not saying whoop your kid in person. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm gonna let the record show. But to be firm with them and to tell them that they are acting absolutely ridiculous, keep doing it, parents. We need more of that. We need more of that. So yeah. That would be my take on that.
No, when I see parents giving it to their kids the same way I kind of do, because they're trying to raise their kids and have boundaries and discipline and understand respect, I give them the head nod. I'm like, and I even sometimes talk to them and because I know sometimes, especially as a mom, you might feel embarrassed. I have before, where I've gone off on my kids at the park. Well, especially if I have one, I will, so it depends on the scenario. Will I leave? Yes. If it's a park and there was not a lot of prep to get there and it's nothing for me to just take them home, if she's pressing my buttons or I will football hold them all the way home. They'll be screaming, kicking, they will cry it out, and then we'll have to have the calm talk. But I will leave and I will know my exit points with certain things if it goes sideways, because I feel like they need to learn. You cannot behaving like this and there's no consequence. However, if I'm at a birthday party and we dressed up and it's for family or friends and we had to drive far, obviously I'm not leaving, but I will say I'm leaving if you don't, or you're not getting cake, and I'm lying, because they are going to get their cake. They're going to get their cupcakes. We're going to stay to the end. So it's more like a fake promise, but I will fake it out, and I just end up giving in at the end. So it depends on the situation. I'll do both.
Cute. Okay. This one might be the last one. My child will have a cell phone and social media when they get to middle school.
No.
Cell phone, yes. Social media, no.
So what is that? Grade 6?
Middle school is grade 7, 8, but you can say 6 is junior, but yeah, grade 6, 7, 8. We'll say 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I'm still indifferent about that. I still personally think that that's still too young to have a cell phone. I understand maybe for the purpose of staying in communication, if that's the reasoning. That's still young to me. And then, hard no for social media. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
As an educator, I see the benefits of having a cell phone in terms of education. I'm not going to get into that, but it can be very tricky. So cell phone for me would just be for safety reasons and being responsible, them teaching me that they're responsible, but absolutely no to social media. And they're not going to have social media at all. Not for a while, so.
Okay, I think we have room for one more. Let's do hand-me-downs are the absolute best.
Yes, 1,000%.
Yeah, when I have someone who just sends boxes. Kayla has given me stuff from Kennedy. I feel like I've won the lottery, because the amount of clothes you go through and how fast they grow is just insanity.
Yeah,
and I used to be that mom that was like, oh, I have to have the cutest shoes and no. And poor Naya, she wears all of Neo's hand-me-downs. and she kind of gives like she, you know, like she understands, but today she wouldn't put on Neo shirts. She's like, that's Neo shirt. I'm like, it's yours now. She's like, no. And I get it. I feel bad for her because she got all the hand-me-downs from him, and they're more so boy clothes, but that's okay. Girls can wear that too. But Nehemiah, like, I just love just not having to spend my money on clothes that they're gonna put holes in, that they're going to stain, that they're going to lose. Like, thank you, God, for all of you who give your clothes to some other mom and their kids. God bless you.
Yep. I love them. I think they're great. And the biggest point is because you reach a point like after 18 months like now I'm at 3, they grow so fast to the point where I have items in her closet that she didn't even get a chance to wear. So I was like, great. So now I just will pass them down to my next, whether it's my cousin, my friends, people in my life who I know have little girls. And I'm like, here. And we just keep the process rolling. So, all right. Well, that about does it. Yeah. So on behalf of us, thank you again for tuning in. Again, you could be anywhere, but you're choosing to tap in with us in our community, and we appreciate that. So until next time, we'll see you.